Talking Music with Big Andy. This week, Tommy Spase and the Alchemists are talking music with me, Big Andy.
Music is the place to be. Come on back, come on, be free.
Hello, welcome to the podcast. I have with me a gentleman by the name of Tommy Spase, who is the leader of a band called it's Tommy Spase and the Alchemists. Hi, how you doing?
How you doing, Andy? Good to see you.
Good to see you. All the way from California, isn't it?
Yep, in Los Angeles, California.
Cool, yeah. Now, I don't know how many people in the UK know your music. I came across it purely by accident, and I was absolutely blown away by it, to be honest. It's just such a I don't know what the word is to describe it, really. I mean, it's like it's a theatrical I don't know, it is a theatrical carnival. It's brilliant. I love it. How would you?
Yeah, I call it a carnival rock opera.
Sorry, I was going to say, how would you describe what you do?
A carnival rock opera is one of them. I used to call it mystical, theatrical, cosmic, vaudevillian rock for a while there, you know. But yeah, definitely a theatrical and carnival like gypsy vibe to it, you know.
I must admit, when I first heard the music, heard what you were doing and saw what you were doing, I didn't realize you were American. Because although it does have the carnival sort of like sideshow sort of vibe to it, it actually came across to me.
Oh, really?
It came across to me very much like a sort of like the UK, the old Victorian sort of music hall style of thing. You know, it's all kind of similar.
Yeah, definitely inspired by that kind of Victorian, a little bit of steampunk, you know. I mean, it was the aesthetic for one thing, but that's separate from the music. But somehow the music that has been coming through me for a while now has got that vibe to it, you know. So it all kind of came together to form what it is, you know.
Yeah.
And I actually do I do have a fair amount of people that listen from the UK. So yeah, I'm happy about that. That's cool.
Yeah. Like a bit of background. I mean, I couldn't find out a lot. I must admit, it took a bit of digging to find out some of the actual history for you and that sort of thing. I understand you moved to LA in the 80s, and you were in a band at the time, which then sort of split up.
Yeah, I think I mean, it might be somewhat of a common story, but yeah, I moved out to LA in the late 80s with the band, but like, I don't know, almost immediately within about a month or so of arriving, you know, the band split up, and you know, I kind of made my way from there, and was in a couple different bands, and then through the years I came out as a guitar player, so I was playing guitar for, you know, various bands when I could hook up with people, and I was in a couple signed bands that never did much, but you know, got to see a little bit of the inside of the industry that way, and you know, I was lucky enough to, you know, be in the studio with some pretty cool producers and stuff, and just tried to pick up as much as I could. You know, I always did record. I always had my own little recording setup, no matter what. And I was always writing my own songs, but early on, I was, you know, just playing guitar for other bands, pretty much.
So from the outset, I mean, I know it took you a while to get the band together fully, but you kind of came together in the early sort of the 2009. Is that right? You got the band together?
Well, it's hard to say. Yeah, I mean, it's you know, I would say my very first CD that I recorded under the name Tommy Spase was a totally different thing, like a psychedelic, space-adelic kind of a rock thing, but it was a different vibe for sure. And I did that all on my own. And then after I finished that, and that was up in San Francisco, and I came back and kind of formed a band around that particular CD. But then I went through a bunch of different musical incarnations. One of the my main partner in the music is Lady Di, and me and her had been in various other. We had other projects that were different vibe, and I recorded CDs under that. But so the Tommy Spase thing kind of went away for a while as I pursued other, different types of vibes, I guess you would say, musical styles. And then it was around that time, around I'd say 2008 or so, that I decided to do another album with Tommy Spase, and this is when all that like carnival type thing kind of all solidified. Because
Yeah.
I was there was a place in Santa Monica, California, like a street called the Third Street Promenade, where street musicians play, and people walk by and everything. And I was out there one day, and I was playing just singer songwriter kind of stuff, and like people would just walk right on by. They didn't really care, but I noticed that like these guys that were doing like juggling acts and doing these strange little shell game stuff, they would have this huge audience, and I was like, you know what, there's got to be a show. There's got to be a show to it. That kind of shifted things for me, and it started in a different direction.
Yeah, it's interesting. How well does it translate into sort of like small clubs and things? Because I would have thought that you kind of need the full package, the full show. And if you're in an ordinary kind of bar, does it kind of detract from the show at all?
I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't know the difference yet, because all we played is small bars. I have a lot of great ideas for theatrics and everything like that, but even when we'd sit there and talk, think about theatrical elements to it, and unfortunately, like in like especially in LA here, it's like you don't have the luxury of having your own stage for that amount of time, so it's like 15 minutes between bands, so you just gotta jump on, throw your gear up, and start playing. So really haven't been able to explore it as much as I'd really like to, but nevertheless, I try to make up the difference with my own physical performance as being in the front, and just my articulations with both the lyrics married to the my gestures and things like that. So and hopefully it translates.
Yeah. Oh, my wife said, actually, when we were watching one of your videos, she said to me they'd be fantastic at a festival.
Yeah.
And I could see that on a bigger stage at a festival. I think you would go down really, really well.
Looking forward to it.
So your first album with Tommy Spase and the Alchemist, it was called The Alchemist. That was in 2018, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, that spanned a pretty good amount of time, and it was kind of a Frankenstein monster in itself, because I had about, you could say, almost like 3 or 4 different bands, with the amount of members, like the band kept turning over, you know what I mean? And I'd had like about 4 different guitar players in there, and like 3 different keyboard players, and a couple different 3 different drummers, that over the span of time as I was recording it, it was always recorded, in somebody's garage or something like that. And so, and at one point I had all these songs, and I had them various levels of, being finished, but I finally decided, well, I need to, put this into an album, so yeah, it was it was over a span of years, but yeah, I finally was able to put it together and, put it in one package,
Yeah.
But yeah, around is when I did that and started putting it out, release it.
And you had 2 singles came out of that, which you got videos on YouTube for, which is End of the World, which I really like. Interestingly, while I was watching the videos, my wife, we were watching together, and she said that the End of the World, I don't know if you know the band, but she said End of the World reminded her of Adam and the Ants.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
As it is down below, so it is up above. This thing that you see, well, it's all about the love, can't you see?
They say a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Oh, the truth is the truth when a shot comes to push. On either side of the fence, the grass seems greener to me. And it's a hell of a world when a push comes to shove. As it is down below, so it is up above. This thing that you seek, it's all about the love, can't you see? Oh, let the sunshine, let the sunshine down on me. Can't you see life is, well, that life is but a dream. Oh, let the sunshine down on me. Can't you see life is, well, that life is but a dream. Calling everyone in the world, calling everyone in the world. Breathe a brand new day. And if it was the end of the world, if it was the end of the world, what would be left for you to say? We're gonna break the old wishbone. Once I will fly on the sea just like a stone. Do you hear the glare from the megaphone? It hunches and shakes you to the bone. Even if we can feel far away from home, but don't you know that you never walk alone?
Which, yeah, I can see what she meant, but it's good. And then you had Things That Go Bump in the Night, which
Yes.
you've got an absolutely fantastic video for on YouTube. The animation on that is incredible.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of like Tim Burton stuff and that kind of otherworldly sort of animation that he uses.
Yeah, absolutely. I really was. I was really blessed because we're playing a gig at the Viper Room in Hollywood, California, and a friend of our guitar players came down to watch, and he was an animator, and he after the show he was like, "We got to make a video," and so I was kind of thinking about what song to do, and that one kind of came to mind, and man, it just like it turned out, and he really nailed it. He donated a lot of his work and effort and his genius. So very grateful for that because that kind of kicked it off. That was our first video actually for the band and that album. So
Yeah, it's really good. I like the whole album. I've been listening to your stuff on well, when first thing I found was the videos. I found the videos for those two on YouTube, and I thought, what is this? What have I come across here? And then I sort of looked you up on Spotify and listened to the album as a whole, and there's some really good tracks on that album. Really good. One of my other tracks, the other tracks that I really like on that album is Odd Bodkins.
Yeah, me too. I like that one a lot.
It's just fantastic. It's so well put together.
Thank you. It's kind of a sleeper for I was always one of my favorites on that album too, and it's another one of those otherworldly kind of supernatural songs,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, it's really good. I really like it.
Things that go bump in the night. Things that go bump in the night. Things that go bump in the night.
There are things that go bump in the night. They can get you, but such things your average man cannot perceive. There are worlds unknown, apart from flesh and bone, but such things the human mind cannot conceive. But there are beings that surround us, but it's so hard to believe in what goes beyond what the naked eye can see. It's paranormal, esoteric, electromagnetic, the good, the bad, the sad behind the veil. so many stories of strange happenings. Do you believe in ghosts? Can a dead man, after all, tell his tale? Angels and demons, ghosts and goblins in the light. Silver discs that fly for all little green men. Apparitions, superstitions, contact from the other side. Restless spirits stirring in the wind. And they are there on the left, and they're there on the right. They are there where you are, but they're just out of sight. They creep and they crawl, and they turn off the lights. I imagine, for there's an invisible world right under your nose. All that is there, oh God only knows. It can give you a chill from your head to your toes. It's quite frightening, but that is something so much more. A superior force that casts a shadow from the light, and all the things that go wrong in the night. So put your crown upon your heart. Don't be afraid of the dark, and don't get carried away by your fright and the things that go bump in the night.
In this year, you've got the second album, the new album, the Carousel Cabaret, which you kindly sent me a copy of, and it is brilliant. I love it. Absolutely. I can't think of any other way of saying it. There isn't a track on there that I don't like.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
I mean, the title track itself is great. Carousel Cabaret. The two that you've got a video for one of them, a proper video for one of them, and then you've got like a lyric video for the other one. You got Flip Your Lid and First You're a Spark, which is just genius, and the video for that again is just genius. It's fantastic. It's
appreciate that.
And the other one I like the other one that kind of stood out for me was Everybody Cries.
Yep, me too.
It's a bit, I don't know, it's slightly different. It kind of, I don't know, it has a slightly different feel to it to the rest of the stuff, but it's they're all equally good. But
the turn about right after the title track, Carousel Cabaret, it takes a turn. The album takes a turn, and then it goes into another place, and Everybody Cries, especially, that's probably the oldest song on the album. That went back a little ways. There was a period of time I was getting these songs that were all very similar, and that the album itself, it's kind of strange because I was really planning on doing a completely different album. I knew it was really time to do an album, but I had this completely other album in mind with a completely different set of songs. And then the song Carousel Cabaret came through, and I realized one night, it was literally in one night, I was like, wait a minute, this is more than a song, it's an entire album. And then I realized I had all these songs that just kind of fell into place. I was like, we're doing a whole new, different album. It makes total sense to do this instead of the one I was planning on doing. So.
I will sing you a lullaby. Take my hand and we'll walk the sands of time. Tally ho, but what this time? But just a grain of sand through the hourglass. But this grain of sand you leave behind. When you go, look into my eyes. Can you see through the disguise? It won't take you very long before you realize. I awoke from a dream, as real as life, strange as it may seem. There walked an angel who spoke to me. She said, look into my
in. The show will soon begin. As you listen to me, kid, it's bound to flip your lid. Here's flip the switch to on, and I will sing a song. Do a little dance, it's a night filled with romance. And if the fates allow, we might just have a good time. And if the stars align, we might just fly away. Because life is but a stream, and there's so much more than it may seem. So welcome to the dream.
It's kind of weird because it almost reads like a soundtrack album to a film. You know, it's kind of like and it's strange because a friend of mine asked me to describe what you do to him, and I said it's really difficult for me to put it into words. And I said to him, the first thing that came into my mind was, I said to him, if you think about all of the good things from The Greatest Showman and all of the good things from Moulin Rouge, and kind of mix them together.
Yeah, that's why it's like I kind of the Carnival Rock Opera label kind of works for me, because I really I don't even have an explanation for whatever reason. Like the way my music kind of evolves, and especially I'm a big fan of the album. You know what I mean, as an art form. You
Yeah.
know, like a body of songs that kind of fit together. And I just always, since day one, kind of did that kind of thing where, you know, an album kind of moves throughout with kind of a through line, so to speak. And this one, you know, takes it even further. I mean, I really do feel like that cohesive kind of energy. I mean, I want to perform it from beginning to end, you know, on a stage, you know, and
yeah,
really make it an experience.
yeah. No, I can see that working really, really well. So, I mean, where do you get the inspiration from? Does it just suddenly come to you, or do you have to think about what you want to do do you have to think about the kind of, like, you know, in your head, the staging of it while you're writing it?
No, you know, I mean, it actually just kind of comes, to be honest. I mean, it's like tapping into a stream of consciousness, so to speak. And I mean, I don't necessarily even have too much control over it necessarily. It's like kind of it's almost like channeling in a way. And I'm not trying to be like strange about it, but you know, it comes from another place. And when it comes, it's like, you know, a lot of times it'll be a melody first or a guitar part. You know, I'll just like feel like you get on the guitar and suddenly boom. And then, you know, or sometimes words will just come, and then or sometimes they all kind of like just kind of come in very strange ways together, and little things spark, and it all kind of comes together, you know.
Yeah.
And so and then later, yeah, I do get ideas sometimes of like theatrics and things like that, but that usually comes after musically it comes, you know.
So, I mean, I know you're, as I say, you're the leader of the band, as it were. Do you? I mean, how much input do the other people in the band have into the music and?
Well, I got to say, like this time around, especially with the Carousel Cabaret, I mean, I literally definitely have the best band that I've ever had. I've had, you know, in the past, I do all the writing pretty much, and I'm a musician, so I play guitar, and I have some pretty clear ideas musically about how things, you know, kind of should flow. But I also try to leave it up to, you know, personal interpretation and expression, of course. And anyway, so going into this album, you know, we really didn't. We prepared like we had like one practice before we went into the you know, and you know, I just kind of left it up to, you know, fate, so to speak. And like, I mean, these guys, you know, I mean, they're, you know, I do have, you know, when I'm in there, we're cooking and you know, we're working it out. And I mean, I just kind of, I'm a little bit, you know, vague, not vague, but general when I say a little more energy here, or like, you know, or sometimes I'll have someone like, did that, do this, that, you know, this kind of movement or something. But for the most part, you know, all kind of just they kind of really chipped in a lot, you know.
Right.
Sometimes I have ideas that I'm pretty firm on. I'm like, can you do this? But sometimes it's like, and that cumulative energy from everybody really takes it up a notch, you know. And I'm so yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's everybody in the band seems to be excellent at what they do. They're all incredibly good musicians. And Lady Di is the other vocalist. She's got an incredibly good voice. It just works really well with your voice. It's the whole thing comes together so well and so kind of naturally.
It really did. I mean, you know, and I can't take full credit for that, you know, but I'm just very thankful that that's the case. And I mean, Lady Di and I have been singing for a really long time. She's the oldest, you know, she's the like been with me the longest, like from almost the very beginning. So, and we've, like I say, we've done different incarnations. So we've always done that, a lot of harmony work, you know, to sing together. So, yeah, and her voice just is really like the, you know, it really adds like such a certain vibe. And then, yeah, the rest of the band, I mean, each one of them is just stellar musician, and I couldn't be, you know, more happy. And we all get together, we all get along so well. There's not even an argument ever. I mean, we've not had one little even butting of heads. It's just like totally, really good chemistry, you know.
It's very rare.
That previous band, I can tell you.
It's a very rare thing in a band to get on with everyone so well.
Yeah.
So where do you want to go from here? What's the next thing? I mean, and now you're obviously with the things lifting a bit around the world as far as the whole COVID thing is concerned, you're going to be able to get out and do more shows. But where do you want to take this from here? Are you looking to do bigger tour, you know, to do a proper tour with stuff, or?
I would absolutely love that. I mean, that would be, that's what we're really kind of shooting for. You know, we were just in the studio last week to do a different type of song. It just happened that like, because a couple of the guys don't even live here anymore. And so just happened to have everybody in town. And I had this song that I wanted to do that was a little bit more, you know, most of my music and the lyrics are really timeless, you know what I mean? And not really much of a commentary on what's happening on planet Earth at this moment in time. But the song that I wanted to go in with this time was kind of like more like that. So I'm working on that right now. But yes, I definitely want to tour and bring this to as many people as possible. It's just really a matter of building up our audience to a level where that could be feasible, you know, or we can jump on a tour or something like that. And of course, it's all in flux with what's happening on the planet and what it's going to look like soon, you know, and all that. But that would be one of the priorities, would be to get out there and tour. We'd love to travel. We'd love to come to UK and all over the world. We got people in Australia and UK and a bunch of other places that, you know, it's just, do we have enough people to really warrant that? We'd have to see. It's just really practicality at this moment in time, but definitely would like to tour. I'd really love to do some more videos from the album. And again, that's like, you know, getting that together and being able to do it. I have a lot of great visions. It's just a matter of the practicality of getting those, you know, with production companies or whatever to make that happen. And then also got a kids show that I'm going to start working on here too. So, which is kind of being the universe of Tommy Spase. So we'll see what happens. You know, it's all about that.
Oh, that sounds really interesting. Yeah, I tell you what, I could see you doing a film with sort of like basically a film staging the album. You know, which would, I think, would work really, really well.
Well, that's kind of you know, that you kind of hit the nail on the head there. I mean, my thought is that we'd start with an episodic series, like a, you know, kind of a quirky little, you know, episodic series, and then graduate to like a full-on film, and, you know, maybe take a musical thing to a place that it's never been. I mean, can you imagine like a Pirates of the Caribbean / Alice in Wonderland visuals with like, you know these songs and like all these crazy things happening, narrating a dramatic storyline, you know, I mean.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Oh, I would watch it, definitely. Yeah. So, and then I'm assuming at some point another album, maybe.
Absolutely. I mean, I already have a few waiting to go. You know, I just, I mean, I want to give this one a little time to just keep going and keep,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
we got an opportunity for people can, you know, hear it, and we have a 10-day, 8-day experience where people can listen to the album for free, and it's got a lot of extra little goodies each day. And, you know, I want that to continue. That's been going on since we released it in March. And, you know, but yes, I have I have another couple new albums worth of material, and I definitely have a firm idea on what the next one is, and going to be a lot more whimsical. And I'm looking forward to that too. I'm not sure when that would be. Maybe we'll see. We'll maybe give it one more year or something, but
yeah, yeah.
depending on what everything. But yes, for sure.
That's cool. It's cool. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more of your stuff, because it's as I say, I genuinely came across your videos purely by accident. I don't even know what it was I was watching at the time. And I just suddenly came across your
Wow.
videos, and I just thought, what is this? I've got to find out more about this band. And then I looked you up and I started following you on Instagram and Facebook and that kind of thing. You know, and it just sort of like took it from there. And that's why, I mean, you know, when I started doing this podcast, I thought there are a few bands I want to talk to, and you were definitely one of them, because it's just so different from the other stuff I'm looking at, you know, and the other people I've talked to. I love it.
I'm really glad. I mean, I'm really glad you did. Thank you. Yeah, good to, you know, good to be heard. I'll tell you.
No, it's the weird thing about it is, I mean, I like pretty much any kind of music and all sorts of things, but I like different things that are just kind of things that kind of grab me and just sort of like make me go, wow, hang on a minute, what's this I'm listening to? And your music does that. And it's like when I listen to the new album, almost every track made me go, hang on, what? It's sort of like, wow. You know,
Wow.
it was really good. I really loved listening to it, because it is so different to anything out there at the moment, and it's
Well, thank.
different in
I
a good
mean,
way.
you know, yeah. Well, you know, I mean, I come from like, you know, an older school of like, you know, where we play your own instruments, and you know, I mean, you know, music these days has gotten somewhat homogenized at the very least, you could say, and
Yeah,
so you know, and like I say, it's just the art form of the album, and just really trying to offer as much value in there, and you know, good message, you know, just entertain at the same time, you know.
yeah. No, it's true. It's something. I mean, I used to be in bands. I've been in one for quite a while, but one of the things that I was always told by people that kind of came before me was, if you're out there doing a show, it doesn't matter if you're playing to one person or 300 people or 3,000 people, you put on the same show. You're there to entertain people. That's your job. It's,
Exactly. We do that. Yeah, and I've had that opportunity to put it all out there in front of like one person. You know, like the bartender. You know, in early days. I mean, you know, and
yeah.
you just go into the mode, and you go.
So those times when you go up to the manager afterwards and say, you know, there was one guy with a dog in. You didn't let the dog in for free, did you? Oh, well, it's been really great talking to you. I hope that you do well with this album and that you spread the music further around. And I look forward to hearing more of your stuff, and definitely at some point, hopefully, being able to see you live on stage. That would be fantastic.
I would. I'd love it. I hope to see you over there in your neck of the woods, for sure. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to just talk with you and, you know, talk music.
Yeah, no, it's been really good, and as I say, I really enjoy your music, and I look forward to hearing more of it. Thank you.
You will. I promise. Lots more to come.
Thank you to everybody for watching the podcast, and look out for Tommy Spase The Alchemists. New album is on Spotify, and it's available on their website. I will put up links for everything same as I always do with the show. And until next time, thank you very much. Goodbye.
All right, thank you.
Talking Music with Big Andy.
Oh.